Hello and welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John, where in each episode we'll stroll down the Macintosh memory lane. We'll discuss older Macintosh computers, collecting all things related to the Mac and Apple computer, and current topics from the perspective that only a couple of old Mac fans can provide.
Hey, John.
All right.
All right. Is anybody with us live yet? I don't think so. I think it's just, oh, wait, here, maybe over here. Is this where we see everybody? No? I don't see anybody yet. All right. Well, whatever.
Right.
Anyway,
well,
okay, we'll count us down and we'll start going here. Oh, there's somebody. Blondie Juan.
That is my friend Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe. Do I know Joe?
I don't know if you've ever met Joe or not. I've known him for many years.
Oh, Rick is back. All right. Well, we're going to count it down and we're going to start the show legitimately, right?
All right.
You ready to go?
I am.
All right. Let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the RetroMacCast with James and John. This is episode 530 for June 21st, 2020. Good morning, John.
Good morning, James. How are you?
I'm doing fine. This is what, day 326 of our lockdown? I don't know.
I actually started going back to the office this last week.
Yeah, I saw your car and I stopped by the other day. By your desk. I don't know where you were at the moment.
Who knows? There were a lot of visits last week, so I may have been helping out with that. So who knows?
Yeah, it was kind of a ghost town.
Yeah, it is pretty still pretty quiet in there, which is why I feel comfortable going in.
Yeah, right. Well, you don't have to even sit too closely to anybody. So
correct. Mm-hmm.
I don't imagine you have to be
I just make sure I don't shower, so it keeps people away.
Terrific. All right. Well, we got a handful of people here in the chat room, which is nice. Of course, we are streaming live on YouTube. That doesn't do any good for somebody that's listening right now on the audio file. But next time, remember that we're endeavoring. Is this the third week?
Third one. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Third one. Okay. Yeah, we do get lucky and get a few people in our little chat room on YouTube.
Most of them from overseas because of the time. But not Joe. Joe is in Atlanta, City of Tomorrow.
Perfect. All right. Well, you've known Joe since 1988?
Since the 80s, okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. Well, let's see. We want to do some new members here. We'll start with Russell Lane. Russell, let's see. When asked of his favorite Macintosh, he says, depends on what I'm using it for. 2006 Mac Mini for Leopard, 2008 MacBook for Snow Leopard, MacBook Pro for Mojave and Catalina. His favorite OS?
Makes perfect sense, yes.
Yeah, his favorite OS is Leopard, as I still use it daily.
Nice.
And James Wages joins us from Nagoya, Japan. His favorite Macintosh is the SE30, and his favorite OS is System 6.
Nice. James, yeah, I do still want to see about maybe getting James on the show to talk about his awesome tutorials that he does for retro repairs. Yes.
And good evening to Michael Mulhern.
Mike, hello, sir.
All right. Well, what are we going to talk about this week? This was your idea. I think somewhere you reminded this is a big anniversary of a big Mac.
Absolutely. The Big Mac. 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese.
It may be an anniversary of that. I don't know. Big Mac, I'm talking about the 9500. That was a Big Mac. And it came out 25 years ago. So we're going to zero in on the 9500 later on. Of course, after the break, we're going to have eBay finds, and we've got a bit of news. Oh, and clarification. We had our timing all wrong. We were going
Right.
to talk about WWDC. Realized we were a week off.
Because it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
That's right.
We will talk about it a little bit. As
We should just talk about it like we did see
like
it and
happened.
just come up with our own stuff. Yeah. Can you believe the flying car? I did not expect that one. Wow.
All right.
So I don't know if you noticed that I do not look like Powder from the movie Powder this week, and it's because I did do what I talked about, and I am using my Apple.
Oh.
Yes, lots of makeup. I'm using my Apple flag as a diffuser.
Yeah,
over the light, and it looks really cool too. Because
is there smoke coming off of that? It looks like there's a little charring happening.
No, those are LED lights up there. So
okay, good.
I think we're safe.
I didn't know if your lights were retro.
Either that or the plastic fumes have just.
And for the live folks, I put on a specific shirt today.
Oh, why? So yeah,
let's doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good because it's hiding behind my
your giant microphone. Oh yeah. Okay, stand up. Let me see what you got.
Let's see if I can get over here.
Oh, there you go. It's one of the Worldwide Developer Conference from what? 2 years ago?
No. This is a Fast Mac shirt that they made years ago.
Oh, wow.
It's got the Apple logo, and those are all the models of the Mac.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome!
Little letters, just into shape. So I think it says 25 years of Mac, and I'm sure somewhere on here is the 9500. I don't know exactly where it is. But.
Well, I am wearing because this is about the time of the year it would have happened. My Vintage Computer Festival Southeast shirt today.
Oh, that's a I'm blanking. Altair.
Yeah. They only did the kind of Apple themed one the 1 year that Jerry Manick was there. So yeah.
All right, I'm eBay finds queued up over there.
I've got them ready.
I don't.
I say that, but there we go.
I was messing around.
Speaking of, I did find an A9500 that's for sale on eBay that I thought I'd bring up kind of what it's going for when we talk about that section. Okay. So.
All right. You ready to go?
I'm all set.
Okay, let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time for the eBay finds. Last week we had that perfect restoration Apple II, or Macintosh 2 project, right? The one had all the sticker residue. That one's still available for the buy it now of $99.90. And the 20th anniversary Mac, this one was the prototype, missing some of the components or parts, didn't have the power supply. Not quite sure if it even had the rear cover, but it was a DVT, and it was still available for a $9,900 buy it now, or you can make an offer. The black Power Macintosh 5400 with the G3 upgrade did not sell at $3,999 after 0 bids. This one is relisted. Did you know this one is in Douglasville, Georgia? Did we even figure that? I don't remember it being close by. And it's sold.
Oh, wow.
1 bid. Yeah, $3,999. Okay. This week we'll begin with the first and, gosh, maybe the only first-party game Apple ever made. Right? Through the Looking Glass from 1984, and that beautiful little book.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Case,
yes.
binder with the little ribbon accents and the artwork on the front. Been a while since we've seen one of these. All it says,
especially for one as wow. I mean, no reserve, low starting bid.
So we'll see what the true value is on the open market. 7 bids have brought this to $81. Let's get a look at that right there. It is opened, and you look inside, and there is the disc. No telling if the disc still works, but that's not a big deal.
Right. This one, it's all. I mean, really, it's all about the packaging.
Right.
Now, of course, my
Mm-hmm.
wife loves Alice
Big
in
fan.
Wonderland and has a room dedicated. And I would love to be able to add one of these.
Oh, I thought you had one
to
of
that
these.
room. I do not know.
Oh my goodness.
No, because they usually go for hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I don't know if
pretty pricey.
I don't think around 100 is probably about what I'm thinking. This will
Really?
We'll
Well,
go for. I don't know.
I
We'll
have
see.
added it to my watch list. So
John
we
has
will
entered
see.
the bidding.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, you better set your limit before this gets crazy. All right. What's next?
Next up, we have one of the MacEffects. They've got a couple of their different color cases that they're selling. They've got a gorgeous, very nice, rich red one. They've got a blue one, which I've got one of those blue ones, but I have to say I am green with envy over the green one. Ooh,
now
that's vibrant, nice.
It says it has defects. Is there
Yeah.
a description of the defects?
Well, I think part of it was these were the ones that were supposed to be. They came in and they were supposed to be semi-opaque. You're supposed to still be able to see through them a little bit. You know, kind of a la the iMac. But they weren't. So I don't know if that's the defect.
Yeah. Well,
or if there's other defects.
In the description, it says that there are micro abrasions that cover most of the exterior.
Right.
And
which we know.
Right, from mold polishing. Same with the clear ones.
Yeah.
And it says it's 90% opaque and 10% transparent. So you're not going to get a light shining through these.
But they look really neat still.
Gosh, it does.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that green. I had actually thought about taking the blue one that I have and doing like a Krylon paint on it. But what I may do is just see if somebody wants that with the color it is, and I may end up having to get the green one.
Yeah, here's the green one right here. Beautiful. So these are all being sold for $275 as of buy it now.
Yep.
They do have a number one. There's only a number of them. There's only one green one left, John.
Yeah, I know. I see that. And also there's only one more of the clear case.
Yeah. These are sharp. And it says micro abrasions. Does that mean they're so fine? I mean,
they are. So
visible?
yeah, so obviously on the clear one, that's when you're going to really see them. And they are, if the only way I think you can tell is if you compare it to one of the ones that doesn't have the micro abrasions, which is, extremely crystal clear. But as you can see behind me, the clear one with the micro abrasions is still very clear.
Yeah. Of course, you can't see it if you're just listening to the podcast.
Well, that is true. So just know it is still very clear.
Trust him. Yeah, I just didn't know if you could. It was possible to polish that out yourself somehow.
I mean, there's plastic polishes. Like the stuff that I use for the pinball surfaces. It would probably buff out.
All right.
Yeah,
it will probably buff out.
That's right.
Okay.
So what's last on the list?
And finally, the title is Vintage Apple Macintosh Computer 1980s Technical Manual Service Book. These are always interesting. It's always fun to collect not only old Apple and Mac stuff, but what about old Apple and Mac stuff that you couldn't even collect back when it was out, right? You had to have special access, in this case, be some kind of technician or authorized provider or some sort to even get this kind of stuff. And of course, in that era, we didn't walk around with our iPads and looked up this information on PDFs that we searched, right? People carried around giant binders of this information.
What are these book things you speak of?
Let's see what the description says. Anything. It just says carefully stored for decades. It says this one has Apple Mac 2. I think that's supposed to be Apple 2. I think it has the Apple 2, 2E, 2C, and Apple 3 level 1 technical procedures in it. There's minor cosmetic discoloration, but this is from the 80s. All right. Let's look at the pictures here. So it comes in a giant 3-ring binder with a beautiful 6-color Apple logo and the trailing stripe. This is level 1 technical procedures numbered 0720062. The stripe goes all the way around the back. You got the Apple computer written in Mater Tectura on the back, so you can date this, to late 70s, early 80s. And there's a sample picture of it, right? What's that, an Apple III? Parts of an Apple III in that picture?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That, absolutely.
And there's the side. Here's another picture. Looks like it shows some kind of diagnostic. It does have Mac scribbled on it, but I don't know if there's Mac information. Maybe there is.
Well, I mean, it's got to be. So it's got to be like from like 84, 85. If it's got Mac, So
interesting. Yeah, but it'd be. I don't know if the stuff in there actually got into PDFs that are available for download someplace.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Might
These
be interesting to
Mm-hmm.
look around Internet Archive to see if it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are also a number of these being sold by the same seller, different volumes.
Oh my goodness.
Look at, yeah. I just snagged one of them here. It is a starting bid of $99.99. It ends later this week, Friday, or you can buy it now for $199.99. Okay. Let's take a look at the comments, see if anybody's saying something cool. Michael is waiting breathless in anticipation for his 2E case. Yeah, I was almost going to cover news of the MacEffects update.
Oh, yeah.
On the 2E case. But then I went to the Kickstarter page, and it was a Kickstarter backer-only news update.
Oh.
And so I didn't feel like it was my duty to share that with the world if they just wanted it strictly for
the backers.
For backers. And so I won't say that now because we're still streaming live. Yes,
I
sacred technical docs.
Definitely looking forward to that 2E coming in.
Right. Okay. We're going to talk about the 9500. That's okay. Uh-oh. John's got a mouthful of something. Are you okay? Need a Heimlich? Oh, he's eating his biscuits again.
Jammy Dodgers.
Oh, this is our paid product announcement.
That's right. That's right.
Thing.
Dear Jammy Dodgers people, send me 3 cases of these for compensation for... Okay. All
right.
done.
Oh.
Good to go.
Okay. All right. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Well, it's time to talk about the Power Macintosh 9500. It was 25 years ago, almost to the day. I guess to be more specific, June 19th, 1995 was the day Power Macintosh 9500 was introduced to the world. It was discontinued less than 2 years later in February of 1997. A lot of firsts on this one. This was, of course, like the equivalent of the Mac Pro today, where they would say, it's the fastest Macintosh ever. Right. So I'll read some of the firsts that the Power Macintosh 9500 brought. First, it was the first to bring second generation 604 Power PCs, but not directly on the motherboard, but on a daughter board. Not a son board, but a daughter board. Yeah, so that'll allow you to quickly and easily upgrade the processor as faster ones became available. So the baseline configuration was 120 megahertz PowerPC, and then later faster ones would come along, or you can get 132, 150, 200, even the first multiprocessor Mac with a dual 180 megahertz PowerPC 604.
So I'm also guessing that probably like newer tech, and then we're probably coming up with possibly even faster cards for these than Apple did.
Yeah, obviously that enables a whole new and easier path for third party to have accelerator cards. Yep, certainly. Memory, this thing had a lot of slots, had 12 slots, and it used for the first time these 168 pin DIMMs, allowing you at the beginning, because the largest chips were 64 megabyte, you could load up this thing with 768 megabytes. You know what that would cost you?
Back then?
A single 64 megabyte DIMM module, single, costs $3,900.
Oh my gosh.
So if you maxed out to 768 megs back then, that's about $50,000.
Well,
back then.
So, all right. So,
50,000. Wait. So let me 50,000. That's like $80,000 today, right? What are you gonna say?
So when I worked at the Photo Lab, Steve Chausa, hello, Steve, talks about getting RAM for one of these systems and marking at the fact that he was old thousands upon thousands of dollars in his hand because one of the systems out.
Yeah.
And it's like, and he was like, this RAM costs as much as my house. Yeah.
Whoops. Right. Shouldn't you be wearing anti-static gloves there? Well, later on, larger modules would come out. Ultimately, you could upgrade this thing to 1.5 gigs of RAM, which was huge. First to have 10 base T Ethernet along with the AAUI port, had SCSI 2, and what else? Oh, another huge one, right? The expansion architecture, PCI for the first time. And it was the first, it didn't have onboard video, which is kind of interesting, right? So you had to use one of the 6 slots for a video card. And there was no built-in AV on this thing either. So you're going to be using up one of those slots too if you wanted any kind of AV capability. So it really was built for just the powerhouse of the memory, the architecture, the fast processor, for serious number crunching.
Yeah, and with 6 PCI slots, you certainly didn't mind using up 1 or 2 for video cards. You still had plenty
for stuff that should have been built in. Oh, yes. Right. How much did all this cost? Well, the baseline configuration, this is the 9500 120 with a gig of RAM. A gig hard drive. $4,699 in 95, which is like $8K today. It's shipped with 7.5.2. Hackers out there will know that you can drive this thing all the way up to run OS 10 with the help of like X post facto.
Sure.
Yeah, it's reported that you can run even Leopard 10.5 on this.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, I can't imagine how quickly that would run. Now, looks like Mike Muller out there, so he's got a newer tech CPU card in his 9500.
Okay.
What processor does that newer tech one have? Let's see if we can get that answer. See how fast.
Well, while he's answering that, I can. I'm going to mention that there is actually one of these up on eBay right now. It's got a starting bid of $99 with a buy it now of $149. I do see that it's got some chipping around one of the bezels. These unfortunately are definitely experiencing the disintegrating plastic syndrome. So those front face plates are so brittle, brittle.
Of course, these things are heavy. Yeah. Trying to ship would be problematic. We're looking at the Macworld review of the 9500 and shows some good speed specs here, showing how it compares to the 8100, which was the previous speed champ. The case was pretty similar to the 8100, right? It was they kind of shared that little mini tower case for the 8100 with the Quad 800. It was a few inches taller, I think, than the 8100. But yeah, so obviously a lot of money to buy one of these back then. You could probably pick them up pretty readily. So the big question, like you're saying, is like condition and how I actually get to it. But my gosh, can you imagine? Now I have a 9500 somewhere around here. I think it's in the other room. Do you have one?
No, I don't. No.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, 9500, 25 years old this week. We didn't get the answer back from Michael. Maybe he doesn't know. What was that speed of that newer tech CPU card? How many slots did the G3 Mini Tower have?
What, just the was it 4?
Was it 4? Mac 84 is wishing it had the 6 PCI slots, though they made a prototype. I remember seeing that prototype version. All right, let's see. We're moving on. And we're going to talk about a little news.
News. Let me get that news up.
Anybody out there in the chat room going to be participating in WWDC? Or at least watch the keynote. I plan to watch the keynote, of course. Whenever you're ready, John.
I am ready.
Okay, let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's time for the news. Of course, we said earlier that we thought a lot of the news would be dominated by WWDC, but either they delayed it a week or we mistook which week it was going to be. Not quite sure. But we can do a preview. Mac Rumors has a great preview out there, combining all the great rumors, the expectations of it. The biggest one being new processor architectures for Macs. We were just talking about Power PCs. Of course, we went from Power PCs, Intel. Before that was 68K. Well, is a new era upon us with ARM-based chips? The same processors that have been powering our mobile devices. They have a history going back to Newton. Now coming full circle back to the Mac. Is that possible? Everybody seems to think so, including Mac Rumors.
Right.
They also talk about, and of course that's going to create all kind of havoc, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, just like when we had the transition, anytime there's a transition to a new architecture, there are certainly growing pains. And
we even had a minor transition recently, right? With only supporting 64-bit native apps.
Yeah.
And that's not without its hiccups.
Oh goodness, no! I mean, there's a reason that I only have one computer running Catalina. Everything else is still running.
Right.
A High Sierra.
Right. That's why I have to have a virtualized image of an older OS running, so I can still use some of my apps. Well, buckle up. Let's see if this happens. Also, one of the things that are thought to happen next week is the introduction of a redesigned iMac. Maybe that one will have ARM processor.
Yep. So now, all right. So here's my. All right. So are they? Do you think they're finally, if they're going to ARM? Do you think they're finally going to end up kind of combining the OSs in some way? I mean,
you mean
keep, like introducing elements that are iOS-ish to the
I'd be
Mac
surprised.
OS?
I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Okay.
I think. Well, it will go against philosophy. Apple has always had this philosophy that you had an OS that was targeted for the way you used the device, whether it's your phone, your iPad, your watch, your TV, or your Mac. Now they've introduced things that work across those platforms in a similar way.
Yeah,
that are
like
compatible.
Keynote and that sort of thing.
Oh, the apps, but even OS level improvements that work and allow the flexibility to move, say, iOS apps to the Mac OS. But so you look at what WWDC is all about is it's all these incremental upgrades to all the different OSs,
right?
So if you saw, you see the lists of the OS here on the Mac Rumors page. You got iOS/iPadOS 14, macOS 10.16, watchOS 7, and tvOS 14. And so the idea that you would see iOS and macOS converge, right?
Yeah.
To one thing that did work for both. I mean, that would be huge.
That would be, yeah. But I could definitely see where the like you were mentioning, the apps would certainly be more. I could see them. You have an iOS app, it should be a whole lot easier to bring over and make a Mac version.
Yeah.
It's
really close. You're right. It's interesting discussion, especially when you've got these wide format trackpads that are very much like just almost it's just a sit back from the screen.
I could see them serious. I could seriously eventually see them replacing the big trackpad with an actual screen similar to like the iPod Touch, where it's actually a display as well as being a trackpad. Kind of the ultimate touch bar.
Right, expanding on the touch bar idea that nobody uses. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Kind of with the idea in mind that we might have a major processor transition here coming up. Over on How to Geek, Benj Edwards wrote a little article called Deja Vu, A Brief History of Every Mac CPU Architecture. So it's kind of just what we were talking about. He goes over all these major transitions that we've gone through, survived, and somehow come out the other end, but with not without a lot of teeth gnashing along the way. What would you think of all those transitions? What was the most painful for you? 68K to PowerPC to Intel.
So I think so. The problem going from 68 to PowerPC was they were emulating. Basically, they had to do an emulation layer, if I remember correctly, to continue to run the 68K Motorola stuff. But the computers weren't quite up to it at start, so they ran pretty bad. And of course, then they had to do the same thing from Intel to PowerPC, and I think that one went smoother. So it
actually did. Yeah,
I'm going to say it was rougher going from Motorola to PowerPC.
I'm going to agree, especially when I remember jumping on board with PowerPC Max at the beginning, and PowerPC, all this talk about speed and everything, and then you're waiting for PowerPC native apps to come out. It's just a long time coming before you were finally divorced from your old 68K world.
And they actually in this article talk about the emulation used to keep it backwards compatible.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I kind of doubt you're going to have ARM emulation of Intel stuff. So you're not even going to be straddling the two worlds, right?
No.
It's going to be all or none, most likely.
Now, I do know that, of course, as far as like Windows stuff, Microsoft already has their IoT version of Windows 10 because you can actually run that on a Pi. And obviously, the processors that will be used in the Apple stuff are going to be just a little bit more powerful than that. So it'll be interesting to see if they do some sort of emulation, or if they just start doing native apps that just run on ARM. I think it's going to hurt Apple if they lose their Windows compatibility that they have.
Oh, yeah. That's huge, isn't it? Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I rely on that a lot. Yeah. Rick is saying that he thinks they'll have to try to do x64 emulation on ARM. Have to agree, but then
what
kind of hit?
Right.
I mean, we have near native speed now because it's just right on top of the actual hardware that's compatible. But yeah. Okay. Well, we will find out next week what happens and how they intend to pull that off. Oh, I misunderstood. It was Mac 84 that has the newer tech. There we go. And clarification, the G3 Mini Tower only had 3 PCI slots.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
So I could have gotten up and looked at that one because I've got one of those back there. But
yeah, it's so big that they can only put 3 of them in there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was more bays or something that took up the room.
Oh yeah, Rick mentions it depends on how powerful those are. Obviously, as far as if they're
that's the thing. You know, those ARM chips are so darn powerful, especially for the size and the
power consumption. You can imagine that when they start
the price
putting them in the laptops, just how much more battery life you're going to get.
Well, or put 4 of them in there.
Yes, that's true.
I wonder if somebody's done the math. I'm sure. I keep you keep hearing about how, pound for pound or whatever, or dollar for dollar, those chips are the most powerful and efficient. I'd love to see some graphs. I'm sure when Apple, if they do this, they're gonna, hammer home how much better they are.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Because you think about the processing power just in my phone here, and then
Rick mentions the same thing we were kind of talking about with the lower the power allows way more cores, and absolutely.
Sure. So there's that's the upside. We were just talking about the downside, but there is a tremendous upside. All right. Did we do everything except the outro?
We did, except for the outro. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's record the outro and then we'll kibitz with the people in the chat room here. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
Oh, you know what?
What's that?
When we did I'll do it during the outro. How about that?
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you. Here we go. All right. Let's go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of the RetroMacCast. One thing I failed to do when we were talking about the 9500 is play with my little soundboard here.
Oh, that's right.
Thing I used it.
Too many hands,
right? Well, as big as this 49-inch screen is, I think now it's too small. I got so many windows extra. My soundboards, my audio routing tools.
So you basically just need a wraparound room-size monitor in a swivel chair.
I think the ideal thing would have another one of these 49-inch monitors up on top of this one for all the control panels and status lights and switches and everything.
Well, wait, then that just changes the aspect ratio, and you just end up getting a nice 8K giant TV. It would be about the same thing.
But had I been on the ball, or if I had a sound engineer sitting off to the side, they would have reminded me that I had the 9500 startup chime that I could have played, which is a beautiful sound. So let's listen to that. Isn't that nice? I hope you heard that after all that.
I did, yes.
Right? Yeah, right. Okay, well, next week, I think we're right this time. Next week will be WWDC. And maybe we'll get some exciting announcements, and John and I will get to share our reactions. Hey, wouldn't that be fun if we did a live reaction podcast?
Oh my goodness. Oh, that would be. Of course, that would be during the week. We're supposed to be working.
We
should be working. Yes.
Take our lunch over to. Well, you're gonna be in the building, so you're not gonna.
I'm gonna be down at the Doolittle Institute next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fun. All right. Well, I guess that's it. Oh, I did want to point out one thing. I don't think I mentioned that we got a donation in from Bill Davis from Campbell, California. I want to thank Bill. Bill found his way to our PayPal donate link, which is on our homepage. So very much appreciated, Bill. Our costs actually have gone up again. While I'm not going to renew the Ning site because it's prices just shot to the roof in recent years. But this StreamYard, while awesome, comes with a cost. So it's nice if we have some donates to help offset those costs. You can go to our homepage, RetroMacCast.com, to donate via PayPal. And just a reminder, this is, YouTube live over on our channel there. And I think watching a lot of YouTube channels, everybody always has to say, click on the subscribe button, right?
That's right. Yeah.
That's very important.
That's
so
right.
You're reminded. We'll post a priori that we're going to be live, so you'll get reminders and such. So, all right. Anything else, John?
Nope, that is it for me.
Okay. Well, until next week, remember, it's not old.
It's a retro.
Oh,
Hi, Klaus.
Klaus
Klaus is joining
he
us.
missed
Hello.
us.
Michael is like, he says, iOS X, please no.
Yeah, iOS. Yeah. Thanks for the great show. Hey, you're welcome. Thanks for coming in. All right. Well, that was about as efficient as it's been.
My goodness, yes. I mean, it's it's almost like we know what we're doing. It's
kudos to John for giving us the little banner graphics you see there that are new this week. Plus, look at that background. There actually isn't a way I can remove us both. Actually, I can remove. If I remove us both, you wouldn't hear us. But I'll do that temporarily, and then you can see the cool background of icons that John created. So hold on. All right.
there we
You
are.
saw it there briefly.
Yeah.
Now you see a lot of it there, but yeah, just sort of when stuff doesn't quite fit the aspect of the screen, there's a nice little background. There's a default one in StreamYard that looks like that. It's just
Yeah,
got
which
some
is what
leaves
gave
and
me
things.
which is kind of nice, not too distracting.
Yeah, and that's too distracting. That's perfect. Yeah. Oh, and so, I can do different overlays and things in while we're doing the show. Like, I can put in stuff like that and say closing comments, which I guess is appropriate. But it's on a different tab. So anytime I do that, I lose the chat.
Oh,
which I'm trying to monitor.
right.
But maybe that's fine. Maybe I just switch to the
Could
chat.
you bring up YouTube in another window and look at the
or
comments on that?
StreamYard? Yeah, I could. Then it's going to be. I'm going to have two videos.
Even more. Yeah.
That'll be kind of a mess too. Please post that. Oh, Rick wants that as a wallpaper. Would look great on his OLED phone.
I will tell you what. I'll put it up on the Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blondie says, "Oops, I thought it was closer to the end." What does that mean? What was closer to the end?
I don't know.
And we got a moof. Do we need a moof? Here's a moof.
Yeah. That come off of one of the Mac Addict discs?
No, I mean I grabbed it someplace. I think I've had a library of Mac sounds. And so I've been loading them into my soundboard and maybe use them at some point. Be able to play things and
yeah, I love Dog Cow.
Every once in a while, get some sage advice from Steve.
Stay hungry, stay foolish.
And that kind of stuff.
Well, you don't have to stay hungry if you try Jammy Dodgers.
Perfect segue. The show, James, since I'd said bye, I thought the show was. Oh, no, this is bonus time.
That's right. This is the the fun part. Yeah.
Well, this is when John is supposed to be gathering the audio clips that he's recording and sending them to me. I don't know if he's doing that.
I have, yes.
Oh, Well, this is also when I'm supposed to be looking to receive them. I'm not doing them. Oh, let's see. Go over here.
In one of the
I don't see them.
windows you have open.
Aha.
I actually hit return. It's in Skype.
Oh, you know what? It does this weird thing now. Skype does, where you don't see attachments and things.
Ugh,
You got to go to the gallery.
terrible.
You know about this? So
User
like yeah. So you have to click on gallery, and then you
My
see anything
goodness.
that you've sent me. That's crazy. So, okay, I think I'm downloading the stuff now. And this is the time of our interaction where we talk about next week, but
Yep.
we've got next nailed down.
Yeah,
so
we
there's not
don't.
much
Yeah,
we can say.
it's episode just kind of
Mhm.
writes itself.
Mac84 says, I love the oh yeah soundbite Mac Addict had titled Anyone Wants G3.
I don't remember that one offhand.
Say what now? Oh, the other thing I didn't do is I could have shown comments like this.
Yeah.
I did that last time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone wants a G3? Is that Steve Jobs saying that?
I don't know. My favorite from Mac Addict was the apathy beep, which was just somebody going beep. I use that one quite often. Yeah, it was good.
Of course, you know what Bill Gates says about that.
And I think it's magical.
Yeah, I did a quick search on that sound. Oh yeah, that Matt Agric had titled. I guess it was one that they sent on one of their CDs. All right, I've got your file. Goody good. And we should be good to go. Anybody got any questions out there in chat land before we sign off? Suggestions, comments, concerns, grievances? I hope everybody's staying safe out there. What's it like out in Australia in terms of lockdown status? Are you able to leave your house? Are you able to roam? At least I hope at least the fires are out.
Yes. Oh, gee whiz.
It's been a horrible year. And then how about where is everybody else? We know we got Australia represented.
And we have Joe's in Blondie One is in Atlanta.
Right. We got Sweden, right? Represented. Mac84, where are you? Where's Mac84? Where in the world? New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah, New Jersey is so-called, what do they call them? Hotspots.
Hotspot,
I think,
yeah.
New Jersey, New York. I don't know. If
Michael
that's still
says
the case.
that the lockdown is easing up. Of course, Klaus is in Sweden.
Mm-hmm. We knew that. The fires are out. Good. One thing at a time. That's good. We didn't want to double up on our disasters. All right. Well,
Mac84, I
John?
like your user icon,
Yeah.
by the way, too. Yeah, very nice.
yeah, isn't Mac84? That's Mac84 with the YouTube channel, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Recapping
Here's
Macs.
me.
There you go.
That's a safe thing to do.
That's something I need to do more of. I'm unfortunately I have done nothing constructive lately because I've been playing Fallout 76.
Yeah, Mac84. We've mentioned Mac84 videos before. I assume it's Mac84. I think he has been doing it for a while. Got into the YouTube game long before we figured out it existed. 1.95 thousand, nearly 2,000 subscribers.
Nice.
Great. How about Mac84? Why don't you join us on this one week after next? What do you think?
Yeah,
about that?
there you go.
You have a video set up where you could join us too. Also, like John and I are doing it here. Yes, I think so. I hope so. And I would imagine you've got a cool little workshop there. I don't know if you could join us from there. Can you do that? Either way, it would work. We'd love to talk to you.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll be in touch somehow. What is the best way?
Well,
Can Facebook message
Facebook?
us?
Sorry, I don't have any information about that. Do you want to know which is correct to me
All
or
right.
for me?
Hey, Google, stop. Somehow the G word woke up here. Send an email. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
All right. There it is. Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, we got something for the week after next.
Excellent.
Excellent. Let me scroll that down before we say goodbye. All right, John. I think that's it.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you all on here next week also.
All right.
All right. Bye everyone.